left my mask to take everything, so. We're very formal.
Let's see. Oh, my. All right, 6 o'clock. That means the excitement begins with the March Celebration Residential Owners Association meeting. Thank you all for coming. I'm surprised there's so many of you because this really is a pretty boring agenda, but hey, thanks for coming. We should move right through this thing, I'm guessing. So let me ask if the meeting was properly noticed, which I'm sure it was.
Yes, it was.
And we've got a quorum. Jared there. There's Jared. All right. Hi, Jared. Let's see. We need a Pledge of Allegiance, I think. That's that time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And we've got 3 people who would like to speak today. And we'll just take them in order. Speaking on the always exciting topic of finance, James, would you like to come up, sir?
Technology Tuesday trees celebration. First about, got some good news. Taco Don Andres is announcing their soft opening 1 week from today. So the owners are a wonderful family. They've supported out the village a couple times with our meet and greets. And we have some great owners of our shops around the village. So we're really excited for them. Not so good news, Scoops again applied to join Farmers Market despite inquiries 4 weeks ago and has not heard anything. And the talk on the street now is that Lexington and Kilwins has a very close relationship. That's why they're being iced out. So
that was good.
yeah, if the business side of celebration would support all the businesses, not just the ones downtown. So hopefully in the future that will happen. Now some interesting news. The Portland Colburn Apartments, 300 apartments in Island Village, is scheduled to be sold on Friday. Nobody knows, well, some people might know who they're selling to, but the interesting thing is all the residents, the portal went down this week, turned black. They didn't give any information as to why. So I got in touch with some of the Portland executives out of Atlanta today. They explained that a week before our closing, usually goes black because they knock the portal down so people can't pay and all that kind of stuff. But they don't tell the residents. So I was able to tell them. They were happy about that. Yeah, one more update on the finance side. Through today, there have been 57 homes sold in celebration in 2025. A combined price of $50 million. An average price of $884,000. So the capital fee on these sales is estimated at $252,000. If we're still doing 1 year of dues, that would be $74,000. So that's $178,000 difference in just the first 3 months. And that $178,000 covers about 35% of the splash pad. So if we didn't have this, we wouldn't be doing the splash pad. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Next up, Steve.
I was wondering why you don't have name cards in. I've been in CROA, name cards in for the new members.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to our name cards? We had them back in the old days, didn't we?
Stated 851, I think.
Yeah. Dated 851.
We can bring them back.
I'm Steve Norton's 1130 Tapestry Drive. I have 2 topics I want to talk about. One is the 851, the other one's the tennis. I attended the board workshop a week or so ago, hoping to hear what's going on in the 851 building. What I was able to understand, there are 3 aspects of the 851 project. One is restoration of exterior envelope with no change to the envelope. Second is reconfiguration of the interior. And third is renovation of the interior, new tech, finishes, and furniture. At least that was my understanding. However, I'm not getting a real sense of what was planned. I believe it really helpful to the community to have a short presentation, 3 to 6 slides about that address each of these areas to summarize what's being done, a timeline, and cost of each. For example, restoration, we talk about windows, water intrusion, landscape, etc., with a timeline and current cost estimates. First, reconfiguration could have before and after diagrams of what's being planned to show how the space being better utilized with the timeline and costs. And third, renovation could talk about the finishes, tech, furnishings with illustrations of timeline and current costs. This presentation will be updated periodically as the project progresses. I think it'd be very helpful, at least from my perspective, to understand on a regular basis. On the workshop, I didn't get any of that.
Just to let you know, we're not to that point yet. We don't have construction plans. We're waiting on drawings, but we will have community presentations once we don't have any cost estimates. We don't have anything.
Understand my TBD and all that stuff, I understand it fine. But during the workshop, there was a diagram that showed very small and very hard to read. You couldn't understand what was taken.
And again, that was not meant to be a major unveiling presentation. That was just for the board's edification as to where the project stood. We are going to do a more detailed presentation.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
consistent periodic presentation, I think would be great.
That will be coming.
On a separate topic entirely is tennis. This morning I went to play tennis at Lakeside and I noticed there were signboards placed at the entrance to the course that read, playing pickleball on the tennis courts is strictly prohibited, with playing pickleball and strictly prohibited both highlighted. It's not clear what prompted these signs. Was it the intention to just exclude pickleball or any non-tennis sport which can be played on tennis, for example, dodgeball, foot tennis, street or roller hockey, paddle tennis, volleyball, or badminton? Intention to keep the tennis courts exclusive to tennis, then I suggest a sign be changed to say that tennis courts are the exclusive use of tennis. Given the issues that were driven by social media around the 2023 La Diva, which resulted in vandalism at pickleball clubs equipment in Georgetown, and the restriction of hours to play at Georgetown, respectfully suggest that these signs be changed and never not to foment more division in the community. Thank you for your time and I request your consideration of these issues.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. And Dennis, you're the last on the list here, sir.
My name is Dennis Dowd. I live at 925 Crumpler Road, which is 2 feet from your face, please. I've lived in Celebration for 20 years. And so I've seen this board change for 20 years. And my experience is, my observation is that people who serve on this board care deeply and do a good job. And I think they care about making this community, keeping this community a good place to live. I have also seen us lose tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to mismanaged or misunderstood or failed contracts with a number of contractors. I would propose maybe that the board look at considering spending 1%. I think the budget this year is right at $10 million. You'll have about $10 million exclusive of the reserve to spend. Spending maybe 1% of that or less on hiring a contract manager, whatever you would call him or her, who reports to the board, works for the board, and make sure that whatever the board expects to be done is done. And if she doesn't do it, you can fire him. And I think that would make a much better use of our money in the current process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, just in case you didn't sign up, anybody else want to say anything? You sure, Jeffrey?
Yes.
All right, just want to make sure. Okay, first we need to adopt an agenda, so I need a motion. Second?
Are we amending it?
Well, we can after that's, go ahead. You just moved to amend it.
So we needed to move to discussion item for, or no?
No, we don't need that.
Okay.
So you haven't, we do have one though. I'm sorry, I forgot about, because Charles is not here. Removing the civility pledge discussion. Removing it for, yes, that's Charles, baby.
Got it.
So a motion to approve the agenda as amended with F taken off.
I guess I'll add, I think that reading through the resolutions, I don't think we're ready to discuss those. We can either have extensive discussion now, or maybe we can move that as an action item for the workshop.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah, so E.
So take E off, move it to a workshop.
So yeah, move E, action item E, motion to adopt 2025 committee resolutions to workshop.
All right, motion to approve the agenda with the removal of action item E and discussion item F. Do I have that? Second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Anyone? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Now, we're going to do the minutes. We got a lot of those. We've got February, the organizational and the board workshop. Motion to approve the minutes. All, Okay.
You need to make a change.
all right, a motion to approve with a change. Second, what's the change?
Organization
Uh-huh.
meeting, CJC liaison Charles was also added, needs to be added to the minutes.
Needs to be added, okay. So the motion is to approve the minutes with change to the organizational meeting minutes, adding Charles as the CJC liaison. Anything else? All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Now for the financials. Oh, our treasurer's not gonna do those, yeah, he's not gonna do them. He's moving in slowly. He's passing it on.
No worries. So February ended with a deficit, unfortunately, of $40,000 to compared to the budget with a deficit of 28. So we were 11,000 off from budget. The leading expenses this time were some pool leaks that need to be repaired and some lighting also that needed to get done in CCFC. So we have, our income is still a little bit lower due to some Island Village plats not being pulled quite yet that were expected otherwise. Year to date, we are still at a surplus for 31,000. That's better than budget by 26. So we're still doing good year to date with some great income so far with rentals in Island Lake and some rentals for equipment. So both of those are doing really good. For our fund balances currently, operating is sitting at 600,000, replacement is 1.1 million, and capital is 4.3.
Awesome, good numbers. Any questions? Motion to approve the financials?
Move, yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Committee and partner updates. What do you guys have in terms of committee updates? Let's start with those. Just jump right in.
I'll just say that I have no updates for finance, dog park, or master plan, but all groups are functioning well and things are moving along on schedule.
And your windmill looks lovely. Oh, wait, you're not a windmill anymore. Anybody else? No?
I have for the lifestyle.
Marco?
Yeah.
Move your mic a little closer, Marco.
Thanks. The committee, we are meeting every 15 days. Dory is the liaison, the chair of the lifestyle and the liaison over there. So she wrote a little note for me, so I can read for you. The committee discussed the ideas for the Aloha to the summer, Founders Day, and the holiday concert. As many contracts needs to be in place in order to secure entertainers and entertainment. The concert under the stars and the father-daughter dance was tremendous success. It's a tribute of more than 250 attendance. It was really nice and cool. The food truck Friday was at the CCFC. We also provided to the attenders soccer together to the Celebration Soccer Club. It was nice. It's the very first time that we did that in a partnership. We have done more than 180 players, and the food truck was really nice. Everything was clean and worked smoothly. The next upcoming event will be the Friday's Mystery Night. They plan to do it at CCFC as well. They have new ideas to discuss that the happiest market, working relaxing in December. Yes, and organizing a street jam concert in Island Village when the stores open over there. It's a huge work from Dory and Debbie and all the members of the committee. It's been nice to be there at the meeting. Everything's news coming up, good ideas, and they took care about everything. The Parks and Rec and lifestyle together.
Nice.
Nikki and the employees doing a great job over there.
Thank you, Marco. Anybody else?
Technology Committee.
Technology.
We had to elect a new interim chair since I'm now with the board. We had to, so Breck Moss has volunteered to be the interim chair. We discussed some of the new technologies that should be considered for going into 851 as we refurbish the building.
worked with Dom on that. Dom also updated us on the network infrastructure upgrades that he's been doing. A lot of these buildings are tied together with networks for different security camera reasons. And so Dom is going around and doing an inventory and upgrading that equipment. And the last thing we talked about was the Gallagher digital credentials, which we talked about in the workshop. So that's the update from tech.
ARC, so there was, we misspoke a little bit during the workshop on the recommendation in regards to basketball courts. So one of the ways that it was written is we had talked about having essentially a full-size basketball court was the way that it was written. It could be C that way. So one of the pieces that ARC came back with a recommendation is to make sure that we specify for the basketball goals that it's just a goal. It's not meant to be a full-size court. If it's a full-size court with 2 goals and lines, all that stuff, that still has to go through the standard agency process. So, yeah, did that come back as a workshop item?
It'll go in
Yeah.
the workshop.
So we'll see that coming back up. So just so we'll be crystal clear on that and everyone will be good. And then also then if anyone in the community wants to talk about basketball hoops again, that would be their chance.
At the next workshop in April. Okay. Anyone else? How about CCDD?
Attended the workshop last night. It was a very lengthy workshop. It's their board meeting at CCDD. There are a number of issues that they are discussing on their end, from easements, and does Osceola County have the ability to put things in their easement, land ownership, and all kinds of fun things. There was one request from the CCDD, which was for the consideration of a joint meeting to talk about the master plan that they've put together. If we have interest in doing that meeting together, or should they just hold their own joint solo meeting?
You know, that's something we need to discuss, probably put it for discussion, but I think that also, considering the words master plan were included in there,
Yes.
I hate to usurp the authority of our master plan advisory committee. So I think maybe that should go through them first, Jared.
I think the last time, so we've been talking about that with CDD for a while. We've been waiting to see their master plan. So I think we're still waiting for them to provide us something so that we know what it is that we're talking about with them. Is there something?
And I'd rather
concrete?
see that go through you guys first before it comes to a joint meeting. Because it may
Yeah.
just, who knows what we want to do with that.
So I think we're just still waiting to see what their consultant has provided and what this document is so that we can, that's what the conversation is about then.
So Angel emailed this afternoon and said that Brenda would provide it to us tomorrow morning.
So can you provide that to MPAC?
I will provide it to MPAC and the board.
Okay, cool.
I'll make sure that's
Foundation.
a topic on the next MPAC.
Oh,
meeting.
yes, Jared, I'm sorry.
I'll make sure that's a topic on the next MPAC meeting.
Okay, terrific, thank you. Yeah. Come join us.
General direction.
I'm from Jersey. I don't need a microphone. Thank you, Don. Welcome, Bill. Welcome, Marco. I'm Kathleen Scipio. I'm the Executive Director of the Celebration Foundation. As promised, I want to thank the Scholarship Committee. They sifted through 147 applicants to award 16 high school graduating seniors $1,000 scholarship. It really all comes down to the personal essay. I cannot be on the scholarship committee because I would give everyone a scholarship. But we asked them to tell us about the spirit of volunteerism and where they have volunteered, and a story of how it's made a difference in their community or within themselves. And that's what it always comes down to. So the stories were unbelievable. The giving of students in Celebration High School, in our community and beyond, with Embrace of Celebration, Community Presbyterian, BBS, Pet Alliance of Orlando, Boys and Girls Club, Celebration Foundation, Windsor, just volunteering their time to spend with seniors. So their future is bright. So I just wanted to say that. April is here. It's around the corner. 2 ways to get connected with your neighbors. We're having porch parties on Sunday, April 13th. We have moved the time from 3 to 5 to kind of coordinate with that NEV parade that you'll see going down Celebration Avenue. Every time we have porch parties, we have about 8 hosts that welcome people to the porch. We make it really easy for them. We even give you the lemonade. You just have to add water and have some cookies, turn the porch light on, have neighbors just sit and socialize. So that is a great way to just get out. Right now we have 6 hosts for April 13th. If you're interested in being a host, just reach out to the foundation office or myself. And then we have Community Connections. That's still going strong. That's April 25th at 3:30. We had a rep from Kanoa join us, Lee Moore. So we've extended that to about 90 minutes because if you know Lee and me, we talked a little bit about Celebration. We are having our annual shredding event with Celebration Lifelong and CROA. That is on Saturday, April 26th. It is sponsored by Morgan Stanley and Max Elston. I'd like to say a few things about community and all the sponsorships and especially Scoop. They just did the Science of Ice Cream with Celebration Lifelong, where they taught a packed Scoop business how to eat ice cream for breakfast and how to make it. So just supporting our businesses, everything's really right here. Celebration Brewery became a Friends of Thriving just because, quite frankly, we asked. So I'm all in for supporting everyone together. We really don't have to leave Celebration. We have our final concert on April 26th. We're doing everything that last week in April. For LFO, we are through the decades. We're in the 90s. If anybody knows Brad Fischetti from Corpus Christi, he is the headliner. So come on down and see him. And then we are wrapping up our fiscal year with fundraising with a hats off to the Derby party on Derby Day at Artisan Park. So if you're interested in attending, tickets are still available and online. And that's it for the foundation.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Moving along to the wonderful consent agenda, just to let everybody know, these are all items that were discussed at the workshop so that we have discussed what they're for, why they're needed, and we move them to a consent agenda. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion.
Jared, second. Anybody want to discuss anything else? Good. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? First action item is this was discussed at the workshop, the purchase of a new vehicle for town hall staff. And as we discussed at the workshop, that's going to be a Trax crossover for $11,000 less than a pickup truck.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Any other discussion?
This includes the vehicle rent for that amount?
Yes, our current quote from the dealership is 27,222. We'll need to pay for the plate and registration and wrap on top of that. So yes, includes all of that and should be under.
11,000 under makes me happy. Motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mhm.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? How about the motion to adopt Universal Consulting Body Charter?
You skip B.
Oh, B, 1-year extension for Exquisite.
I'll
Sorry,
make a
Brian.
motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Now the motion to adopt Universal Consulting Body Charter for 2025.
I'll motion for C and D.
Motion for C and D. They do go together. They're codes of conduct, basically.
I'll second.
Second. Anybody want to discuss? All those in favor? Aye. We have removed E. Now we're on to F. Motion to adopt 2025 account signatories resolution.
Motion.
Second. Any other discussion?
Oh, can I
To the
just say,
packet, yeah.
there's an amendment to what is in your packet. It
Oh.
will be Bill's legal name instead of Bill.
Oh, okay, William.
Got it.
Makes perfect sense. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion to approve investing $500,000 from capital funds sitting in a CIT account in a 12-month treasury bill at Truist. This is at the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Second. All those, our discussion? Pretty straightforward. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I'm hearing myself all over the place. Now we'll just do, this is very quick, H, I, and J, because these are non-public. Motion to approve H, I, and J, the fee waivers, non-compliance, and the S9s.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now to discussion items, and I'm going to turn the first one over to Jacob, the management update. Always fun to listen to Jacob's management updates.
On this one, we do have Diane, we will be talking a bit about our playground projects going on. Diane from Topline, our consultant along this project, is jumping on a call to speak.
She is.
And there she is.
Diane, we were just talking about you.
Well, hi. Hopefully it's all
You
good.
got ESPN.
No, we were just. Perfect.
You're a sports network?
Yeah, no.
Perfect timing. So we have Diane Honell from Diane Honell Property Maintenance, who's attending as our vendor assisting us at the Long Meadow Playground renovations. So a little overview of our Long Meadow Playground project. This one is remove the main part of the project was replacing the turf, moving some equipment around and replacing some equipment that had broken with some new sensory equipment and returning the merry-go-round. This project, as we know, had a complicated past with its last install, which is why why we reopened this project to get it done and get it done right. We were moving along very well last week. And that was including the updates to the community and the board. We did run into some hiccups this week as we were actually starting to set some of the equipment. We encountered a large concrete slab that was below the sublayer of the gravel. That kind of is the reason why some of the equipment was maybe laid where it was by the last vendor, so to avoid the slab and not inform us of it. It seems like this slab was from the original playground when it had sand. So because of the sand sections and then it had some concrete paths running through, this slab was made extra deep to take into account people digging in the sand and not hitting the side. So it's about a 13-inch thick slab of concrete that has now thrown some complications.
That is a
into
gigantic slab.
this project. Yes, with that,
Just the one piece of clarification I want to make is that, so it's not just moving the equipment around due to preference either. So this is due to safety recommendations for fall zones and making sure there's proper clearances. So it's not just moving it around for fun. It's that for evaluating.
thank you for that clarification. That's absolutely correct.
All right. Diane?
Okay. Well, you've kind of covered the concrete part of it. Yeah, that was a big surprise. It answered a lot of questions for me as well. When I went out and looked at it last year, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why the merry-go-round was put where it was put, because there was plenty of room for it to be placed in the proper location as far as use space. Also, when we were pulling up the turf and the padding, there was a tremendous amount of white mold on the bottom of the turf and through the padding, which is an indication of drainage issues, which kind of was a question mark too, until we found the slab, which it all kind of came together. This is unfortunate because I cannot fathom that Phoenix, I think that was the contractor that was there for this equipment. I cannot fathom that he did not come across all this concrete when they were taking out the prior equipment and putting this in. And I think that's why we were, short on use space, because some of the equipment, rather than dealing with pulling out the slabs, then like we are now, they just kind of put the equipment where there was no concrete and called it a day and covered the rest of it off and ran off into the sunset. And now we're dealing with it. There is, and you're correct, we are placing the equipment based on use space. You have to have proper use space. So there's not a lot of wiggle room on where things can go. And when we started digging the footers and found out that we can't go anywhere because this concrete slabs are there, I called Lauren and Jacob immediately. They came out and took a look at it. There was a lot of discussion between myself and another industry expert. And long story short, it comes down to the manufacturer has to make the decision on whether we could put padding on the concrete and if it would perform the same. Generally speaking, you don't ever put equipment over hard surfaces. If you go to any playground in your community and look at the warning labels on there, there will be a warning statement about playing over hard surfaces. That said, it has been done, but the manufacturer has to guarantee the performance of if the padding and the turf is placed on concrete versus placed on, 4 inches of aggregate. They've got all kinds of criteria that they've got to meet, that they do in a laboratory setting, but that they have to meet, that when a child falls from an elevated platform and they hit the surfacing, the energy, when they have that impact, has got to disperse outward away from the child's body and to be absorbed into the padding. So what we were on hold with all week was waiting for the manufacturer to say yes or no. Yes, if we place the padding and the turf directly on this giant slab of concrete, will it perform the same way? And the answer was no, that it will not, that they will not guarantee that it will perform the same way. So the determination was that it had to be removed. And that's, it's unfortunate, but this is something that should have happened when Phoenix was out there, I don't know, 2 years ago or whenever this happened. What has to be removed is what is in the use space underneath the swings and underneath the merry-go-round. Specifically where the swings are, that slab of concrete is about as wide as the swing set, and it extends the entire use space of the swing set and past. So it basically goes from the sidewalk to the step going up to the playground equipment. And then I'm not quite sure, we're going to meet there tomorrow at 1:00. I'm not quite sure how far out the merry-go-round one extends or if they connect. But what has to come out is what's in the use spaces and the critical fall zones. I would suggest, since we have to go to the extent of removing this, to remove it all versus kicking the ball down the sidewalk. Because once we're finally done with this, hopefully you guys are not going to touch this park again for 20 years when it ages out and it's time to be replaced. I highly doubt I'm going to be frolicking around playgrounds when I'm 80 years old. I don't know how many of you are going to be around, and if anybody's going to remember that some concrete was left and some was taken out. So I would suggest just getting it all out. We're meeting the standards. We've got a perfectly great playground. And then the next time it has to be redone in 20 years, there's nothing there, and it can be a very clean, transition for new equipment.
Makes sense.
We have contractors ready to provide us numbers. We're just getting bids for partial removal and full removal for you guys. So for your consideration.
Based on research I did online, that looks like the 40,000.
Yeah, but this isn't gonna be cheap.
No.
I think we all need to be prepared for that.
Because it runs almost $200 a cubic
Yeah.
foot. Or cubic yard. Cubic yard should be low. Should be
Yeah, I
15,000.
think the other thing to me is that I'm in alignment with Diane. I mean, if we're paying someone a lot, unless there's a significant cost difference between partial and full removal, you already have everyone out here anyway, doing the jackhammering, doing the pulling, doing all that, the dumpster involved. We just need to make it right from the beginning.
Now, we'll have an estimate by the next workshop.
Our goal, yes.
All right, Jacob, continue, please.
Oh, sorry, Kate.
Oh, yeah, Katie, sorry.
With the, so originally I think we were looking around 8 weeks for this project. With this piece now added, how does this kind of like change the timeline?
We may still be close to that 8-week timeline.
Okay.
We were running ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And really, that being said, our intended date to install the turf was end of April. We think as long as we can get the approvals on this in time, we can still kind of meet that same turf installation date. So we may still be able to keep it around that same time frame.
And if we need approval on the removal of the concrete.
So if we get the bids early enough, we may request to call a special meeting just for those approvals so we can keep things moving if the board's open to that.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, we want to do that. All right, Jacob, what else do you have?
Well, we still have Diane on. There's 2 other projects that we're working on with Diane, which is the teeter-totter installation at at North Village Tot Lot and at East Village Crescent Park. That process has at North Village Tot Lot was starting to take place. The footer, it was quite large for that. I know there was an inquiry. Yes, it did hit a water line was hit during the removal of that. It was quickly repaired. We deal with water lines being hit quite often as part of our normal operation, and that was taken care of. The installation of this footer, actually, I'll pass this on to Diane. You're going to talk about, it's going to slightly take a few days longer than we expected.
Yeah, the footer, I expected a very large footer. This was a 4-seated teeter-totter, and it's an LSI. I've never seen them skimp on footers. The footer was supposed to be, the footer detail was supposed to be 20 by 30. This thing was at least 36 inches deep when we hit the water line. So that was a super fun. A lot of people thought we were putting a water feature into the playground and thought that was really cool. But anyway, it's been fixed. I had asked Brian's team to please mark the line because it's pretty much going in line with the footer. So I don't know that I can pull it out with a tractor. We may have to jackhammer it and just take it out by piece by hand. I'm going to be meeting also with John, the turf vendor, tomorrow over there when we're done at Longmeadow, because in my head, I thought it might be better for him to grade that area, and then I can come in and set the footer for the new teeter-totter. Either way, it'll either all happen next week or just part of next week. But I wanted the water actually drains, so that means you've got really good drainage over there. Unfortunately, with my schedule, I'm not going to be back there until Monday. As soon as that's pulled, we're going to head over to East Village and pull that footer and get the new teeter-totter put into that location. And we have some rollers to replace on the slide there. I don't know if we've received the guitar component yet, but we can put that in whenever that comes in if it's not in by the time we go over there.
Question mark. I read the update for the North Village teeter-totter and like with the turf. What is kind of like right now, what is the timeline looking at for that playground? Because I think it would just, yeah, with all the
We are looking at getting the turf installation the second week of April, so starting on April 7th. That's should fall in line with this work. It's just getting a little tighter because we want to make sure that that footer is set just right with the padding and of the turf installation. But
the playground will be closed April 7th. For how long do they think it will take?
we'll probably have it closed for up to 5 days. We'll probably do this closer 4 or 5 days, thinking, and it may take less time.
Any other questions?
And just to be clear, it's only one side.
That is correct, yes.
Anything else from management?
There's a lot in our management report. As we said, there's a lot of ongoing projects right now that the management team is working through.
Jacob, were you also Diane?
Yes, thank you, Diane.
Oh,
Thanks, Diane.
okay, you're welcome.
Thanks, Diane.
Have a good evening.
Some of the a great project that we are closing out, which is going to be a discussion item, is the shade structures as well. So that'll be on your workshop as far as discussing the final payment for the shade structures installation. I mean, that's kind of majorly it. I can start rolling.
No, we can do major. We're good.
Full updates next then, at the next discussion item.
Anybody have any questions about the manager? What was in the manager report?
You said the bathrooms, everything's on track, going well with the bathroom.
Everything's
renovation.
on track and going well with the
Like kind of like an estimated completion date for the bathrooms, or if not, that's okay.
It's contracted for an 11 weeks, but we are looking like we'll be a few weeks ahead of that schedule. Right now, demolition is completely done. Most of the tile work is done. We're starting to install the fixtures in those facilities.
Oh.
There was some questioning on why were both facilities closed at Spring Park instead of doing one and then the other. While our original intent was to allow one to remain open and then to the other, we hit an issue whenever it came to the allowance with the building code, as we could do that and leave one open for while we demo the other, but when that one was completed and we need to start the other one, since it's one project, that would not be approved to open until the next one was finished. So it would actually mean the construction project would take over double the amount of time that we're looking at right now, and it would still leave a full closure of the facilities for equal or possibly more time than what we're seeing right now by doing both.
And just to be clear, so in this facility that we're sitting in, the residents have access to the bathrooms in the front part of this building.
Yes, with the resident badge to
They
let them
still get into a real live working bathroom in addition to the portable toilet that's outside.
That is correct. At Lakeside, that project's going well. The resurfacing project at Lakeside has also been going very well. We've completed the actual surfacing project. We just are going to do the final walkthrough later this week. Residents will notice that that pool has been filled with water, and we started the 4-week fire curing process today. Once that is completed, all we'll be waiting on is final approvals, and then that pool will be ready to open, looking ahead of schedule as well.
Look at that. You got the pool project in without even going to it. Anything else on pools?
Since our last meeting, we had opened up Spring Park Pool. As a reminder, we opened that kind of in the midst of the fire process that did cause some issues with the heater operation and some low flow with the pump. That was just that all has been resolved. The heaters are back working in their proper operation because there was the right amount of flow going through the system, allowing them to stay on. They shut off automatically if the flow reaches a low point. So that pool is open and doing well as the interior.
All right. Now on to the new resident ID design.
Yes, let me pull this up for you. So as we're working through some different items, processes internally, one item is to update the design on the resident badges. This has been started by, we needed to update our staff badges as well to make them much more clear to residents and anyone walking around that we are of the town hall staff. In the packet was an example of one that we're looking at changing the formatting to the.
So just for those of you who may not know, we also, in conjunction with the communications committee, your branding guide has been updated to more modern colors. So these new resident IDs are in line with that new branding guideline, and the communications committee has reviewed these as well.
Just evolved.
Yeah.
So here's an example.
Been done. It's been done already.
That's a historical joke there.
Yeah, that's good.
Here's
You got pictures of that for the History Center?
Yeah, we did.
Of one here. They also have considerations for the different credentials required for Artisan Park, and then a separation deferment for our vendors and the continuation of the under 21 badges that are currently out. So this is one that we're looking at just getting, we'll be putting on as an action item in your next,
In the April.
in the workshop if the board doesn't have any comments on it.
Okay. Questions on the IDs? Park bollard lights.
There's no cost change for this, right?
No.
Just a design.
Aesthetics.
You want to give an update on the finance?
So we do have some staffing changes or some staffing updates there, and most of those are represented inside the management report. We have been able to fill some park monitor positions that are starting this week and next week. One item that was in a pre-screening in the management report was the finance manager. Laura?
They start on Wednesday.
Well, that was a quick update. They start on Wednesday.
So
We are excited to have him.
Moving along. Park bollards.
This is Christian.
Christian. Did you find a cheaper way to do those darn things?
I don't always have good news.
Oh,
So,
sit down.
hey, I need to fail a little more. So the one that we have here in the celebration area, if we buy a new unit, is 1,000 a month. Per unit. Per unit, brand new, just to replace. If we're gonna buy the same we're using at Island Village, that is a newer version, That is $2,855.
You know,
So I went through so many different styles that they're cheaper than this. Quality is A to Z, completely different. They don't last, they bend the material is weak. This is our been hit by equipment, machines, kids, bicycles, they're still standing. So you have a good quality equipment. Everything that is on that range of good bowlers that will last longer, everything is on that range, even higher. The repair parts, same thing, they're gonna run in between 500 to 800. The problem that we're changing, right now, for example, my last count was 50 of them being out. Then we're gonna have different style.
yeah.
How many need to be replaced with brand new?
We don't need brand new because everything that is on the outside structure is being able to be replaced. I have a few that were spare brand new. So everything is working on the outside. We just need the guts.
So that's the 500 to 800.
That's gonna be that part. Like for the one that we have, it's $695, $700.
$700.
Get everything rebuilt.
And that's how many? 80? How many need,
We need 50,
50 need the guts?
50 need the guts on my last count.
Okay,
So if you guys are okay with this, that is the option that I think.
so $40,000 will get them all.
35 to 40,000.
Is there we're gonna have bollards that keep breaking. So is there any sort of a price volume threshold?
None of the parts. If we buy new ones, they can lower that 1,900 a little bit. But if it's just a replacement part, it's $695. No matter what, if it's 1 or 3 months.
Okay.
And then I went through different ones, and again, it's so many different areas that we're gonna start not matching, and it don't make any sense
Yeah,
to
no.
change.
And as you said, they've held up.
Yeah, the outside.
The structure
Yeah.
has held up incredibly well.
Yes. And then also the color to match those colors, not everybody can make that exact color.
Yeah, it's different
But
grains.
you're gonna have different greens, one's gonna be taller, it's gonna be difficult. I retrofit one with a different pieces that we can buy at Home Depot, and it look okay, but you can see a difference of the original and that one. And then I can put 2 repairs in between 2 that are original, you're gonna look bad.
Weird.
You're gonna look weird.
Yeah, we could be penny wise and pound stupid, so.
And we will say 200 per pole. So they're not a little equal. So I think the best option right now is to stay with the original that we have. Get the kits, if we need 50, we can get 460, that way we can 10, keep it in storage. That way, when anything go down, we have parts to replace.
So you'll bring this to the next workshop?
Yes, and it is.
If I have the original price, it's just.
And it's reserved. Okay, yeah. All right.
So,
Well, I didn't expect, but thank you for all the work.
yeah, I tried. Next
I mean-
time, I'll move up.
It's still good.
Hey,
It's still good. Yeah, the fact that we don't have to spend 2,000 each.
another good thing is, we're gonna put all the parts in-house, so you're not paying for an electrician to do it.
Well, we're paying for you guys.
Yeah, but the electrician gonna charge 5 times.
You're cheaper. Yeah, no, I get it.
Cheaper.
You guys are dramatically cheaper. Thanks, Christian, so much.
I would just ask there to make sure we have enough spares on.
Yes.
This is, just so if it needs to be more than that, these are gonna keep breaking.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I go point on that is 2 to 4 weeks lead time on the
Yeah.
boards. So.
So we probably need to have a backlog of 5 to 10, and when we get down to 5, we,
I'm gonna order 10 more, and as soon as I need it, I put.
that's fine.
How many do we have community-wide?
Well, that are ours, that
Oh. That's a good.
are CROAs.
Yeah,
One day, you get it.
I give you a count.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, letter E, anonymous emails.
Jared asked for this to be on.
Yeah, good. Thanks for putting this on, Jared.
Yeah, we get a lot of emails. Maybe everyone doesn't know, the board gets a lot of emails from residents, and that's fine, and we appreciate them, and we are able to respond to the resident, and most of the time, well, up until recently, everyone has just identified them at least with their name and usually their address, and that's always helpful. We've had an increase of anonymous emails of people emailing the board with excessive, I'll just say, information. And I don't think it is the board's responsibility to respond to anonymous emails because we don't even know if it's coming from within the membership of the organization.
Jared, I couldn't agree more. I thought the same thing when I saw them. I went, how do we even know this is a homeowner? And we don't respond to homeowners unless we know they're a member of the association.
Right.
What do
So
you
I'd
all
like
think
to-
of this?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's to me, I think that some of the emails that we've gotten recently, we could always respond with, can you tell us your name and address? I mean, so if someone's using a proxy email for whatever reason, they need to know. Now, I know that there will come the feedback where they say, well, that's part of public record. And it's like, well, yeah.
Not public record. The only public that has access to the records are the members of the association.
True.
They're not, somebody from Orlando can't come in and pull our stuff. So if it's somebody who's just a visitor to Celebration and going, well, that doesn't match anymore. I just don't, we spend a lot of and then previously you spend a lot of time responding to these. And I think the least someone can do is let us know they're a resident and who they are.
So I have one follow-up question to that, if that's kind of where you're headed, because the town hall at Mill gets anonymous emails from, I know one of those anonymous emails that you received recently had emailed us last year about a similar topic. So do you want management to continue to respond to them? We don't give them details about what's going on, where our response is, thank you, we're aware of this issue and we are dealing with it through the appropriate processes. Or do you want to?
I'll take a strong stance on this and say, I see no difference between an anonymous email and spam. So I don't see a need for anyone to respond to any of this. That's my opinion.
Jared?
I disagree on that part.
Katie disagrees.
Because I feel like since, as secretary, if someone's sending an email to the board, no matter who it is, I would like to be able to respond, and it can be like with whatever anyone suggests, like, thank you to, just thank you for bringing this to the board's awareness and leave it at that. Or even go like a step further saying, if you would like to, email us with your name, we could respond more appropriately. I don't know like what the best procedure is. But I feel like there should be some sort of like acknowledgement, just
even from a security standpoint, though, responding to an anonymous email sets us up by, Bill can speak more to this, but it's like responding to a phishing email. Potentially, that's the potential that's out there. So I really don't think we should respond.
I would agree with Jared in the sense that, do you respond to every spam message that comes through? You don't. We don't feel an obligation to do that. We don't know if it's legit. We don't know if the person is a resident. So I think the burden on you would go down, not having to respond.
I think the catch is, so I agree with the security idea and mindset. The catches to that is that we need to communicate that to the community, that if they reach out to the board, then they need to identify them.
How about a form email, just an automated response that you've already written up in advance that says, the board has decided that we do not respond to anonymous emails as we can't know who's a member of the association and who is not. If you would please resend this with more identifying information, we'd be happy to respond.
Yeah, and I feel like
I get your wanting to respond.
one time to send it, because it kind of seems like this is a lot coming from the same person, but then again, and it could be from anyone. But I think it would just take that one time to send it, and that would probably put it to bed.
So there are other anonymous emails that we get at our town hall at Mill. So if you want to join in on a templated response, so we can.
Yeah, just a templated response. I think that would be good. You guys, you can work with them on what is a polite way to respond, but to say, we need to verify you're a member of the association. It's our responsibility to make sure we're dealing with association members.
Yeah.
Maybe even that email, the spam, the anonymous email gets forwarded to management and they respond to that email. So it's not coming from the board email.
You two, I trust our secretary. So is it all right if they discuss it, Jared?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the February contract metrics. Nice report.
They're just reviewing for discussion until next month.
Right, just for reviewing, but I just wanted to say it's a nice looking report. It's in the thing, so. Board comments. Eric.
Park and pool monitor, seasonal staffing situation and consideration there.
Icky's pushing out those job recs and the job recs for summer camp next week. So the goal is for them to start the first week of June and to stay on. So the camp counselors will stay on until the end of July. The park and pool monitors will stay until school starts.
What's your feeling on the likelihood of filling those now?
The salary is not the lower salary that we used to offer for the part-time people. These will be 40-hour-a-week people, so it's a little higher salary. We are also planning on staging somebody permanently at Lakeside and permanently at Island Village, because those seem to be our two hot topics last year, and we can adjust as needed. And then having the other two float around in the other villages to check on the pools.
So that would be then, for example, at Lakeside, we would have 100, basically close to 100% coverage to make sure that residents only are using those facilities.
That is the goal.
During
Yes.
peak hours.
During peak
During
hours.
peak hours.
So I think that's great. I think that to me, I would want to move very quickly on an alternative if we can't fill those positions, which may mean that we need to talk with like Mayberry
Yes.
to say, how does this work? What would the rate be for them to be able to fill some of that? Because I think that it's important for us to go into summer, the peak season, when we have this, we have a lot of challenges full. And then I think the other point is that if we have attrition during that time period of they jump out after a week or two and they find full-time employment, we need to be able to augment that very quickly so that we're not in the boat. So I would almost want to see us have kind of a plan B from Mayberry, like ready to go. So that if we have that challenge, we can just say, we need to start this agreement now. We know what the rate is.
So Mayberry will also start being 7 days a week as soon as school's out. They have been rather quick to respond when we need additional resources. They added a 7-day-a-week shift over spring break to assist with that relatively quickly. But we can have something prepped and ready for them to go to have a secondary person out here.
Do we need to like approve something for that to happen though, or?
We can get the numbers ready for you, and then if it's looking like we're not gonna get the staffing, we can talk about the offset of the not paying the salary versus the cost of Mayberry, and then you guys can decide what you want to do.
Cause like what I was thinking, even like, so the seasonal, even say seasonal goes great. Maybe like to Eric's point, that plan B we might want to implement it in the fall. As maybe we still need to keep some sort of like, monitoring in place, take that route. So I think it'd be good to get those.
Yeah, we can get their number for an extra person and car out here.
Do they all go by Barney? Any other board comments?
Last night at the CCDD meeting, they were talking about working with Osceola County to come up with a handout to provide the community about e-bikes. So that is in process. They are working on that. So as soon as we have more details on an e-bike standard for the community, do our part, share.
Still won't solve the problem, but it's a nice step. Marco, you have anything?
For the pool, but about to have pool monitors, not lifeguards, so you don't have any responsibility or liability about that. Pool monitors can be high schoolers during the summer, like a first summer job for them. They are already doing that in the other complex. Even Disney is hiring them as a pool monitor, but that's not like a lifeguard, like a pool monitor can help us to, it's much cheaper as well. And the high school is opportunity to work.
So we can reach out to the high school and let them know that we're looking for staff over the summer. The 2 stationary ones would be good for high school ones because we can't let them drive CROA fleet vehicles. And then we can also discuss internally if we want to look at volunteer opportunities for them to augment any seasonal employees.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Any other board comments?
I will
Motion
motion to adjourn.
Second, we are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen, prior to 8 PM.
That's efficient. That is efficient.
Thank you all.
Not because I think that workshop, we discussed like